win. But the Atlanta Flames are built. Cliff Fletcher is the architect down there, Walter, and the one thing he wanted, a big team, and boy, he has it.
Boy, they were a big team, that's for sure. But we had some big guys too, but we had some smaller guys who had heart, character. Patty Boutette and Jerry Butler, Jimmy Jones, they went out and battled against anybody, and I guarantee you they could hack and whack with the best of them. And they competed with those big guys, and it was like we had a solid team, they had a solid team. They had good goaltending, we had great goaltending. We had a good coach, I'll tell you. Roger Nielsen was a great coach. We were really well prepared, believe me.
Let's talk about Roger a little bit, because he's gone through a little transition this year too, from being almost fired to wearing a bag to doing various other things. What was it like playing for him?
Roger Nielsen was the best coach I ever played for. He was just a tremendous organizer, and I don't think there was ever a game that I was more prepared for. It didn't matter what team we were playing against. He never took a game lightly. It didn't matter if we were playing the last place team or we were playing the Montreal Canadiens or whatever. We were always prepared. The meetings were always really organized, and the practices were sometimes a little bit hockey schoolish, and that, but they were a lot of fun, very interesting. Ian Turnbull used to have a lot of fun messing up the drills.
On purpose?
Well, Roger got smart, and he put Ian in goal on Palmy's days off.
That would do it.
That's right.
That would straighten his act out. What was he like on the bench as far as handling the game itself?
He was very aware of what was going on the ice, very aware. He knew what lines were up. He knew who he wanted to have against so-and-so, and we all knew that. He would have us trained where, in our minds, we would show no emotion when we changed lines. Some teams, change on the fly and would get mad or get upset because the shifts were short. We'd just come right to the bench, pat one another in the back. Roger was always looking for some kind of a psychological edge, and he used to tell us, don't be pouting, don't be coming to the bench with your heads down. Their team would be going to the bench, banging the doors, things like that. We'd be there encouraging one another. That's the type of coach he was.
Have you ever met anyone that was more dedicated their life to hockey? Even now.
Oh, no, he's just a wonderful, wonderful person. He was just a tremendous, liver of hockey. His whole life is just nothing but hockey.
And it shows.
Yeah, it sure does.
All right. No score midway through the first period. Let's go back upstairs now to Bill and Brian.
So that's the fifth penalty of the hockey game so far. Jones for slashing, and Gary, these are the kind of penalties that teams should try to avoid. He laid on the lumber just a little too heavily there.
Absolutely, Brian. It would have been just as easy for Jones to skate right into the man and just take him into the boards. You just can't continually take that type of penalty, because sooner or later Atlanta will capitalize on one of those chances, on one of their power play chances.
Bolderev, John Pronovo on the forward line, along with Ken Houston, number 6. It's Doug Sweeney, number 16. Bill Russell is number 2. And the Atlanta Flames shooted it offside. One step too many for Ken Houston.
One other thing, too, Brian, I should mention that by taking bad penalties, what you're doing is you're really tiring out your defense. And you keep killing off penalty after penalty after penalty, your defensemen are going to get a little tired out there, too, which could have an effect later on in the game.
Of course, when Jones goes off, he breaks up one set of penalty killers as well. You saw Roger there talking with Maloney a moment ago.
Burroughs drives the puck down to Russell at the Atlanta blue line. Atlanta starting up over to Sweeney from Russell. Up over the blue line, he shot it back out. Pronovo brings it in, and that's another offside.
There's Pronovo. What a fantastic hockey player he has been over the years. He registered the 4th highest point total of his 11-year career with 67, now has 344 career goals. Gary, you know him well.
Well, Brian, one thing about Pronovo, he's going to give you the same effort on the road that he does at home. And, this is a rare thing with the player today. They can perform at home, but to really get the great ones, just watch what they do on the road.
Bolderev wins the draw. Sweeney then recovers the puck. Eric Bale out there, Bolderev, Pronovo, McMillan. So they got all their firepower power out there now for the Atlanta Flames. John Pronovo getting it over. Here's Sweeney dropping back. Goes to McMillan. McMillan taking his time. Eric Bale standing in front. Sweeney back to McMillan. A shot. Palmatier got his glove up and deflected it. It's into the corner, back of the net. Shot back to Eric Bale, number 27. Eric Bale takes a look, goes back to Sweeney. Sweeney back to Bale. Bale took a pass to McMillan instead of shooting. McMillan trying to center it. Sweeney has it now. Keith Sweeney trying to get it to Jean Pronovo. And it's knocked down the ice by Jerry Butler. Jones has 42 seconds left in his penalty. And just wonder how long these two teams can go with these penalties without scoring. The puck goes back to center right. Recovered there by number 20, Tom Murdoch. Heading it over to Boldurev. Back to Murdoch. Murdoch in center. Shot the puck in. Made by Palmatier for Sittler, who couldn't get the rest away. It's kicked out in front, and finally Williams shoots it down the ice. Jones has 10 seconds left in his penalty. There's no score in the game, and we have 8:08 remaining in counting. In this first period, puck to Palmatier. Palmatier gets it back to the net to Turnbull. Jones is on the ice. Flips it out to Darryl Sittler. Williams trying to catch up. Sittler tried to go in, and he was stopped by Murdoch. Over to Bobby Lalonde. Lalonde is knocked down by Jones. Lalonde gets it around on the boards again, but stopped by Quenville. Over for Tiger Williams. Williams back to Turnbull. A shot, which is wide. Sittler trying to get at it. Oh, got it back to Quenville. Quenville pass ends up at the side of the Atlanta net. That's Russell getting it over on the right side. It's cleared. The Leafs with Ron Ellis goes after it. Sittler couldn't keep it in. Quenville goes to Maloney. Maloney takes his shot. That's stopped by Bouchard, and he puts his pad on it to cover up. Atlanta coming up to center ice. A long shot off the stick of number 5, Brad Marsh. A long pass out at center ice intended for John Anderson. Goes all the way. And Bouchard knocked it off the board. The Leafs try to forecheck now with McKechnie there as well. Selming covering Bill Clement, but McKechnie had to go back out to center. Over on the wing to Burrows. Shot the puck in. Bouchard knocked it to the corner. Then Houston getting it out for Clement. Then onto the right side and over the line for number 8, David Jan. Jan was squeezed out and Maloney just shoots it down the ice. That's going over the red line. Back to touch it, number 5, Brad Marsh, and that's icing.
Brad Marsh, one of the fine young defensemen in the NHL today. And the Leafs came down here following their Sunday night loss to Boston. Players, Gary, telling me it was one of the roughest flights they've ever experienced. A lot of turbulence and lightning and rain, and they got off that plane and they were really upset. Some of them physically ill, and that takes a while to recover from something like that.
I'll tell you, we're getting off a rough flight. I would have been very happy rather than be upset. As I look at Roger. You know, another important factor here are these face-offs. You know, whenever you're facing off in your own zone, I think it's very, the big thing with the centerman to really bear down in every single draw so that you don't lose that draw cleanly.
First period, no score. We have 6 minutes, 13 seconds remaining. Puck is cleared by Turnbull. A long shot for Lanny McDonald, but he touched it after he'd crossed the center red line.
You know, a little postscript to that flight story. When they got on the bus taking them to the hotel, it was 4 a.m., and Paul Harrison, the goaltender, lay down in the back of his bus. He wasn't feeling well, and he fell asleep there. The players all got off the bus. The driver took the bus to the depot, left it there, and at 6 a.m. they went out on the run, and there was Harrison still asleep in the back of the bus.
Well, at least he didn't have to pay for his hotel room.
6 minutes and 8 seconds. Remaining in the first period, no score. East Sweenard up, playing with McMillan and Eric Vale. On the defense is Phil Russell. The puck came down the ice, and back for it is Eric Vale. Vale turns at his own blue line. A pass for Sweenard goes into the corner as Hutchison fell down. Jerry Butler taps the puck along the board. Hutchison lost it. It comes back. Here's the drive, and that one was deflected by Turnbull into the corner. That's Bouchette. Holds it. Play is called by referee Bruce Hill.
Well, they're just, I don't think anything's going to materialize from that. But again, the Leafs had Ellis out there with Gardner, and as soon as they had an opportunity to change, right away they put on Jones, Butler, and Boutet again to watch this high-scoring line of Atlanta Flames. And, you know, we can't emphasize enough how important it is stopping this line from Atlanta Flames.
See Hutchison there. He tried to spin around, fell down, was up very quickly. The crowd reacted vocally to that fall.
Now we have Bobby Lalonde at center, Darcy Rhoda on the left wing, Ken Houston on the right side, Rod Sealing and Phil Russell on the defense. Jimmy Jones, Butler, Boutet, Boria Salmi, and also Dave Burrows. The pass for Boutet goes down the ice. It won't have enough momentum to go over the red line. Leaf change on the goal as Zippler is out there now with Lanny McDonald and John Anderson. Russell flipped it through for Darcy Rhoda. And he and Salmi bump together. The puck is underneath Salmi. Live from the Omni in Atlanta, the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Spin, spin, spin the globe. It's your turn to spin the globe. Spin it, spin it, spin it.
All around the world, Siemens is helping people work together, even when they're not together. From next-generation internet to mobile business solutions, we're giving people the freedom to communicate better.
Spin, spin, spin the globe. It's your turn to spin the globe.
Waited all summer to see your game. It's your team on your channel. Maple Leafs preseason hockey exclusively on Leafs TV. All 9 games live beginning Friday, September 20th. Pre-game on Molson Game Face, then the game followed by After the Horn. Watch the Maple Leafs take on division rivals the Canadian Senators and Sabres. Plus, we'll go up against the Stanley Cup champion Detroit Red Wings. Check out the TV schedule on mapleleafs.com, then tune into the game. The long summer is over and our boys are back only on Leafs TV.
Play underway as the puck is at center ice. Cleared in. John Provo goes after. Salmi covered him. Willie Smith goes. And he was checked by Anderson. The puck still in his territory. Anderson tried to get away. Tapped by Bularev. Pass, and here's 3 Leafs coming down the ice. Sittler got Anderson. Anderson tried to go to Lanny McDonald. The puck out on the right side. John Provo can't get it. He kicks it finally to center. Bolderev comes up over the line. Bolderev slipped it through. Going after him was Willie Flat. He couldn't control it. Now here's Darcy Rhoda center. And that went into the corner and he went behind Bolderev. Bolderev gets the puck again. Roaming. Not out. Long shot is wide. John Anderson shooting the puck down the ice. Number 10. Backboard number 5 for the Atlanta Flames, Brad Martin. To Bolderev. Over it goes. The Shand. Shand up to Rhoda. Rhoda tried to get through. There's somebody there. And Rhoda was stopped. And the Leafs run into another penalty with 3:56 remaining to play in the first period. And no score. Ian Turnbull.
Darcy Rhoda went down in the corner, and what a good player he's been for Atlanta since the trade from Chicago. 9 goals in 13 games.
Right here, you're going to see him pick up a burst of speed, and Ian Turnbull gets his stick in there and hauls him down. And again, the Atlanta Flames are going to have another power play advantage. And so far, you know, the Leafs have played the box perfectly. You know, they're not allowing Atlanta to have a good chance from that slot area. And here we see they have that high-scoring line out there again.
Leafs have 4 penalties. Atlanta Flames 2 as we get set for this faceoff. And they got Bobby Lalonde along with Eric Bale, McMillan, also Chouinard and Bob Murdoch, number 20. Atlanta back in their own zone, but they have the man advantage. A long pass up to Eric Bale from the blue line. Going down with McMillan. Over the line. Lalonde catches up. Gets it back here. Bale cover stop. Here, stop that. The rebound went right to Jimmy Jones. He fires it down the edge. Bouchard doing the puck around for Queenard. Queenard passed it right in front of his own net. And the Atlanta Flames recover. Here they come. Queenard having all kinds of problems. Now he starts up to his own blue line. Straight down through center. Up to the elite line and over. Eric Bale centered it. Back to the blue line. Murdoch gets it over to Queenard. Here's the shot. And it was grabbed and then batted by Palmatier. Jimmy Jones trying to get it out. McMillan and Murdoch keeping it in. It goes back to McMillan. McMillan then over to Murdoch. A shot. Went off the arm of Palmatier. Palmatier hasn't got a goal stick. For McMillan. McMillan. Back it comes to Queenard. And that one hit Jerry Butler. And Butler's broken his stick. And he knocked it out with his glove. Palmatier. The net was empty, and he came back like a bullet.
I'll tell you what action. I've never seen a game like this. This is just fantastic.
I've never seen a play like that. Palmatier thought he had a second or two, and he really did, but suddenly the Flames had control, and look at the two of them go after that puck and deflect it high.
You know, Brian, when you see forward defensemen diving at pucks, you can tell how enthusiastic these guys are out here, and they came to play. Both teams, just a fantastic game.
What a period of hockey this has been. We've got 2:24 to play. The Flames have had the edge. The Leafs have had 4 penalties to kill off. They've done it extremely well, but you have to say, how long can this go on?
Well, that's the thing. Again, as we had indicated before, you know, you're playing your key defensemen a lot. It seems like, you know, Turnbull and Salming, they're out there all the time. Of course, Turnbull's in the penalty box now, and you kill off that many penalties. I think later in the game, it may have an effect on these guys.
Don't get distracted. 28 seconds left in Turnbull's penalty.
Okay, Brian, and Salming clears it for Walt McKechnie. McKechnie cleared it, but not out. Kept in. Atlanta with the puck. That's Bob Murdoch. Murdoch gets it back to Boldarev. Boldarev tries the pass for Russell. Russell took a shot, and that one hit a leg and carried him wide. McKechnie shoots it down the ice. 7 seconds left in the penalty, and we have 2 minutes remaining in the first period with the scoreless. Maloney stepping into Russell. John Pronovo, then to Ivan Boldarev. Up at center. A pass for Pronovo. Pronovo tried to cut in. Sittler took him out. Dave Hutchison to the blue line. Kept in by number 15, Rod Sealing. Now it's out. Sealing is knocked off the puck. He and Turnbull coming down with Maloney. Turnbull shoots. That's wide. Then Maloney a shot, and Bouchard caught that. Bill Russell coming back for the pass. Up at center for Boldarev. And he is stopped at the blue line. Hutchison then lost it. Now then Hutchison gets it back. Shoots the puck in. Lanny McDonald races after it. Tried to center it, hit the back of the net. Williams after. And he takes number 15, Rod Sealing, to the board. Puck comes back to Grenville. That puck was knocked down. Darcy Roller comes back for Atlanta. His pass for Houston comes back out over the blue line. Lanny McDonald cruising down this right side of Sittler. Got the puck into Atlanta territory. Darcy Roller given a bump. Now it's right up to center ice. Bill Clement, number 10, shot it into the corner. Turnbull drives it off the glass down the ice. That's over the red line. Soon as it's touched by Grant Marsh, icing is called.
Gary, when you talk about a hitting game, the Leafs are doing it very well now. They're taking the body, taking the man without drawing the penalties, and they're making the Flames think a little bit in there.
Absolutely, Brian. Anytime that you start using your weight out there and hitting men, the tendency is once you hit the opposing player's blue line, you know, you're looking up and slowing down, figuring you're going to get hit. So I think it will certainly have an effect if this game goes on.
I had to talk with Tiger Williams today about you. I said, tell me about Dorney. He said, all I know, he stood in front of the net and scored something like 25,000 goals.
Here's Atlanta with a shot. Palmateer snapped that one on a point-blank drive by Darcy Rona. Laid down the ice by the Leafs. Back for it is David Shan. His pass stopped by McKechnie. Knocked down with Pat Bouquet. Russell goes through center, shot the puck in. Palmateer to Borja Selming. Selming sits along the board. Goes out over the blue line. The horn goes, and the first period is over. Bit of a melee down at the far end. Finally, the whistle went.
Right at the end of the period, Bill, and you can see Matt Pavlich, the veteran linesman, officiated in more playoff games than anybody else. And Randy Mitten, his partner, is in his first playoff game. Mitten from Calgary, his family watching out there tonight. Pavlich from the Sioux, the hometown of Ivan Boldarev. So they're still milling around there in the face-off circle. You see Willie Plett. Tiger wants a word or two with somebody.
Well, Tiger is ready to go, but I think he has to restrain himself, keep his cool, because the last thing he wants to do is, you know, get thrown out of the game right now.
And his son Benji up waiting for his feature, Tiger Williams' feature coming up during the intermission. Hold on, Benji. And Clancy, the daughter, and Brenda, Mrs. Williams. Tiger has some unfinished business here before we look at him on film.
Well, I think, Gary and Brian, that cooler heads are still going to prevail, I believe.
There's a special air of excitement every playoff year. And how do you feel about it, Gary? This is your first.
You know, I've been excited all day, and I feel the same way up here in the broadcast booth as I did down in when I played for the Flyers. You know, even the day of a game, you can't eat anything. Your stomach is turning, and in the dressing room, you're walking around. You're dressed an hour before you're ready to go out on the ice, and you're thinking about who you have to play against. It's just an exciting time of the year, and this is what it's all about.
Well, keep your elbows down. That's all we ask up here. Scoreless first period is over, but there's still a lot of conversation going on down there in that face-off circle. Players from both teams out there. Again, we'll remind you, we'll keep you posted by way of the goal scoring in Philadelphia tonight, where the Vancouver Canucks are meeting the Philadelphia Flyers. Flames are 1 for 10 in playoff starts. Not a very impressive record, but they've had a pretty fair year with 41 victories.
You know, Brian, I'm sure that the players that are still left from those 2 years will think about that, you know, and saying, look at guys, we've never won a series here. You know, we've got to get our act together, but I'm sure that's on their mind that they haven't fared that well.
And the Leafs, as Dave mentioned at the outset, have never lost a preliminary round series, and talking to them today, they were quite confident coming in to meet the Atlanta Flames. Beautiful weather here in Atlanta, Georgia, unlike some spots back home. Look at the shots on goal. Atlanta 12, Toronto 5.
Well, the people are certainly loving it. I tell you, they're an enthusiastic group tonight.
And so the score at the end of the first period is Toronto nothing, Atlanta nothing.
Whether I'm hosting a TV show or modeling for a fashion magazine, I'm expected to be slim and in shape. But I've got a secret weapon when it comes to staying fit. It's called Windsor Pilates, and it's the most effective way I've ever found to quickly flatten my tummy, firm up my buns and thighs, and shrink my waistline.
I have lost 20 pounds, and for someone who's less than 5 feet, that's pretty amazing.
Windsor Pilates is the exclusive workout program taught by fitness guru Mari Windsor. Her unique method of training has been credited with rapidly reshaping some of the hottest bodies in Hollywood.
Daisy Fuentes, Minnie Driver, Danny Glover, and literally hundreds of other celebrities pay up to $2,000 a month to train with Mari Windsor.
Call the number on your screen now to order your Windsor Pilates for only 2 payments of $19.95, or send check or money order for the full amount to the address on your screen. You can also order online at northernresponse.com.
Welcome to more excitement from the world of sports. Hockey, it's your game. The NHL Network delivers live look-ins and updates on every game in the playoffs. And Leafs TV brings you the inside game with in-depth analysis. ESPN Classic Canada is home for the greatest moments in sports history. Raptors NBA TV, live games, NBA classics, and coverage that's all ball. WTSN Women's Sports Television. More choice with the world's first all-women's sports network. Go get your sport. To order, call your satellite or cable provider.
Scoreless after a period at the Omni in Game 1 of this best-of-3. Mike Palmateer, I guess, after watching Ron Wilson play goal in that period, Walt McKechnie and Palmy's floundering around out there like a beached whale out by the blue line, and Ron Wilson makes just a tremendous skate save. Looks like he could play on our ball hockey team, by the way. But Mike Palmateer, I would think if you were going to take somebody to gamble in Vegas, you might want to take him because he seems to be awfully lucky at it.
Well, Palmy's Palmy, let me believe me. There was never a dull moment. When we were sitting on the bench there, I know he used to drive Roger crazy, you know, with his wandering, but his attitude was so terrific. He was so positive in there for us. If we made a mistake, like there was many a night I lost a draw on our own end, and the puck would go back to their hot shooter, and he'd make a great save, and I'd go back and hit him in the pads and say, Palmy, you know, great save, thanks for bailing me out. And he'd say, don't worry, McKeck, just doing my job. Big smile, you can see the smile through the mask, you know. That was Palmy.
When you're on the bench, though, and he comes roaring out to the blue line and isn't there anymore, and Ron Wilson's playing goal, your hearts have got to be up in your throat.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that was an incredible save that Wilson made on that play.
When, as far as he arrives, Mike does, and that brashness that we said in him, don't worry, Mr. Gregory, your goaltending problems are over, I'm here. That kind of confidence back there obviously just comes right out from the net and goes right through the forwards and the defense.
Yeah, we had a very confident team that year. Like I say, it's very disappointing. You know, it's always nice to sit back. A lot of the guys, like Dan Maloney and myself, we communicate a lot today. We know that we were close to having a Stanley Cup team there. And, of course, there's a lot of teams that have been close over the years, but we can still sit back and say that we were close. I think if, you know, I don't want to start bad-mouthing Punch, but if he hadn't come in with that attitude he had, I really think that if Harold had just left Jim Gregory and Roger Nielsen in charge of that team, that would have been a cup contender for a lot of years.
And Mike Palmateer would have been the riverboat gambler taking you there.
You're right.
He has got a 0-0 tie going at the end of a period in the Omni in Game 1 of this best-of-3 preliminary round series because it's April 10th, 1979, and it's Molson Canadian Maple Leaf Classics on Leafs TV.
Relive the greatest moments in Toronto Maple Leaf history with Molson Canadian Maple Leaf Classics. Join us along with former Maple Leafs as we take a journey to days gone by. Molson Canadian Maple Leaf Classics. Saturday at 7 on Leafs TV.
Hey, guys.
I'm on my way. I am Canadian.
Vector, fuel up.
Subscribe to Leafs TV and get exclusive insider analysis. Log on to mapleleafs.com to learn more about Leafs TV.